Hello everyone. As part of video lectures on rock mechanics and static control, uh, in this video lecture I'm going to cover topics of chapter 4 and which is a part 3 of chapter 4 content. Okay, before I start, okay, let's recap what I had discussed in the last video lecture. Like in last video lecture, I have covered uh, measurement of deformation of strata using various devices, like how exactly the uh, deformation takes place and how to measure the that particular deformation between the layers of overlying strata. Okay, so while carrying out the mining activity, there will be a, what you call the redistribution of the stress acting on the opening, uh, due to which there will be what you call the vertical as well as the lateral movement. Due to lateral movement of this overlying strata, there will be a deformation of this deformation between the layers of the strata. So that deformation is being measured using various devices. One is what you call the remote convergence indicator, which is basically used to the convergence of the roof at a given remote location. Okay, at a given inaccessible location where you can, as the mining progress, right, what would be the convergence of the roof, that we can measure using remote convergence indicator. Next we discussed about telltale borehole extensometer. This is the one which is most commonly used in case of underground coal mines. Yeah, in case of underground coal mines, like this is being used like by drilling a hole vertical hole into the roof, and into the borehole, into the vertical borehole of the roof. The telltale is being placed at various locations of the overlying strata, and it consists of various spring anchors which is being placed in different location, and each location, the wire attached to the spring anchor of each location is being identified by a different color, and at the end of it, it is being attached to a different color indicator, which basically indicates what at which location that particular anchoring string is present. Okay, in case of any deformation, there will be a change in reading of the what you call the whatever the readout unit that is present, that is attached at the end. Okay, there will be change in its reading. So the difference between the two readings of the anchors placed at two different locations of overlying strata, uh, which gives the deformation between the layers of the strata. That's how basically it works. Next, we discussed about the magnetic ring multi-point borehole extensometer. This is being used it is not that popular, but still it is being used in mines. It works based on the principle of um, when a current carrying conductor passes through the magnetic flux, it generates the magnetic flux. It generates the current into the conductor. So that based on that principle, like whenever the magnetic rings are placed at different locations of overlying strata, and the corresponding probe, metallic probe, will be moved through the what they call the flux generated by the magnetic rings. So in case of any movement between the layers of the strata, there will be a corresponding change in its flux, which in turn changes the electricity that flows through the conductor. So the difference of electricity that flows through the conductor is being calibrated in a measuring unit to measure the deformation between the layers of the strata in millimeters. So this is how it works in case of what you call magnetic ring multi-point borehole extensometer. Basically, in the last classes, we had discussed about various devices that are used in measurement of deformation between the layers of the strata. So those are that is about what you call the various what you call the measuring instruments used in the field. Let's move on. So in this video lecture, I'm going to cover the following topics. Like basically, I'll be focusing on the subsidence and what are the different modes of subsidence, what exactly the subsidence is, and what are the different modes of subsidence, and the types of subsidence, like depending on the width of extraction, how much would be the what you call the subsidence on the surface. Like depending on the width, it is being classified into three types. One is called subcritical width. Second one is what critical width. Third one is supercritical width. So how exactly what you call These three different types of subsidence we'll be discussing as part of this video lecture. Next, we'll be discussing on change of the profile, subsidence profile with the progress of the workings. Like if the what you call width of the opening changes as the working phase, so what you call the advances, it changes from what subcritical width to critical width. Then further it changes to after further extension of the phase or the further extraction of the phase, it moved to a supercritical width of extraction. So how exactly the corresponding subsidence profile will change. Next, next we'll be discussing the basic terminology used in subsidence, like what you call angle of draw, angle of break, and what you call the point of inflection. Then we'll be discussing like what you call various components of subsidence profile, like what are the different terminology that is being used, or how exactly those terminology being represented in a subsidence profile. Next, finally, we'll be discussing, depending on the time, if time permits, we'll be discussing factors influencing the amount of subsidence. What are the factors that basically influences the amount of the subsidence on the surface? So we'll discuss all these topics as part of this video lecture. Okay, let's move on. See, what is subsidence now? Mine subsidence basically what the change in profile of the ground, the change in the surface profile of the ground due to mining activity. That is called subsidence, guys. If you look at this diagram, look at here, it's a kind of pothole, you can say, like whatever the flat surface that were present due to mining activity. Okay, this completely it got subsided and there's a change in its profile. So that's what exactly subsidence. So mine subsidence is the collapse of the ground surface over areas where a core or mineral ores were removed. So the change in profile of the ground that basically indicates the subsidence. Okay, next one, we'll discuss about what are the different modes of the subsidence. Okay, there are different modes of the subsidence. One is something like what this is called the tough subsidence. Tough subsidence is nothing but what? There will be a basin kind of shape that is formed. So there will be a deformation due to this mining activity. There will be a deformation between the layers of the strata and which propagates up to the surface. And as a result, what happens? There is kind of what you call, there will be a change in its profile, surface profile. Okay, the change in the surface profile basically indicates the subsidence trough or the trough of the subsidence. Next, this diagram represents sinkhole subsidence. See here, in what exactly is a sinkhole subsidence? Sinkhole is subsidence nothing but it's a kind of what you call pothole, you can say. So the major difference between, see, there is a sudden collapse. If you look at this diagram, right, there is a sudden collapse of the overlying strata, which creates some kind of pothole kind of thing. Okay, so what exactly is the basic difference between the trough subsidence and the sinkhole subsidence? See, in case of trough subsidence, there is a gradual change in its profile of the ground. Okay, and during changing its profile of the ground, it gives enough indication, like what is the development of cracks and what you call the getting its what is its reduced level gets red, whatever its elevation gets reduced and the change in its profile. So that those are all the indications. Like okay, there is a what you due to this mining activity, there is a what you call the subsidence that is being taking place at this particular location. That's why the change in its profile change by whatever the earlier flat profile that we are having, it's got changed into some kind of trough. That's why it is called trough subsidence. So in case of trough subsidence, it gives enough warning or enough indication. Okay, like how exactly the trough is going to be, how exactly the deformation is going to be. So it takes place gradually, like depending on the progress of the workings, or it is a time dependent property basically. Whereas in sinkhole subsidence, basically, it won't give, of course, there are some internally, there will be what is some kind of disturbance, but it never gives it's not going to give any kind of warning on the surface, like the development of cracks or, like whatever the features using which you can predict, like okay, there's a possibility of sinking or, subsidence. But what happens, right? All of a sudden, what happens, right? In case of the sinkhole subsidence, whatever the overlying strata that we had, okay, it suddenly gets subsided. It will go what you call inside of that. So it's a kind of pothole. Okay, it won't give. There was no earlier warning, but still, this entire everything got subsided, and it's a sudden movement, into the below ground. This whatever the surface feature that you have, that is called sinkhole subsidence. So the basic difference between these two is, in this case, we will be getting what some kind of early warning, like okay, development of cracks and everything, there's a possibility of what you call the change in its profile. But in case of sinkhole subsidence, it won't give any kind of what you call the prior indication. So let's move on. So we discussed about in case of sinkhole or pothole subsidence, it won't give any warning, but suddenly the overlying strata will collapse. So that is called sinkhole subsidence. Whereas this gives some kind of warning because there will be development of cracks and vertical whatever the surface, there is a change in profile of the surface, which basically gives some kind of visual indication like okay, there is some subsidence due to the whatever the mining activity that has been carried out over this area. Okay, so let's move on. Like these are again there are different modes of subsidence. Like the trough of the subsidence. See here, this everything, right? The trough of subsidence form the coal pillars punching into the underway because it's got crushed. Like there is a change in its profile, and so the subsidence from the crushing of the remaining pillars. Here the pillars got crushed, and due to overlying strata, there are different things basically. Okay, there is a change in profile again. Sinkhole subsidence, yes, this is what we discussed. From the mine roof collapse, because it won't give any warning, but suddenly everything would be collapsed inside of that. So that is called sinkhole or pothole subsidence. Okay. So now coming to the types of subsidences. Uh, so depending on the width of extraction, of the substance extraction, the substance are classified into the following types. Okay, one is called the subcritical width of extraction, because these are very very important. Subcritical width, critical width, and supercritical width of extraction. Not only from what you call the knowledge point of view, but also from what you call the entrance point of view or the examination point of view. These concepts are very very important. So in case of subcritical width of extraction, if you look at right, the width of extraction is small. PW is in this diagram. PW indicates the width of extraction. Okay. So let us say this deposit. What are the deposits that you have? Okay. 1 second. Let me take. So whatever the deposit that you have. So look at here. This gives the depth of the deposit. That's what exactly it is. Okay. Next one. This will be the width of the deposit. Okay. So this is the opening you made it. PW is the width of the opening, and the DP is the width of the deposit. Okay. But since the opening is very small. Okay. So whatever see here. These things we'll discuss again in upcoming lectures. This is called angle of draw. Angle of draw spot. This question is called angle of draw. So what is angle of draw now? In a way, I'll be covering this again, in the coming slides. Okay, look at here. This is vertical line. This is also vertical line. Right. So what is angle of draw now? So angle of draw is nothing but the angle made by the line joining edge of the opening and the point of zero substance. This is the place where there is no substance with the vertical. So angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening to the point of zero substance. This portion there is no substance. Am I right? The point of this portion there will not be any substance kind of spot. Point of zero substance and joining to what? This edge of this opening. This line, okay, it makes an angle with the vertical. That angle is called angle of draw. This angle is called angle of draw. So angle of draw basically represents the extent of subsidence. Means in a given area, up to what extent there is an what you call the subsidence has taken place. Okay, this is the trough kind of thing, right? So this is the extent. Up to this, there is a substance. Am I right? Up to this, there is some kind of substance that took place. So there is change in profile up to this location, right? So the extent of subsidence in a given location is being represented by means of angle of draw. Up to what extent this one? This is very, very important bit from entrance point of view. So now coming back to the subcritical width of extraction. So in case of subcritical width of extraction, what we call the width of the opening is very small. The width of the opening is very small. So there is no maximum subsidence. Since the width of the opening is small, the line joining the edges of the opening with an angle equal to gamma, okay, they will be meeting inside the surface or the below the surface. They will be meeting below the surface. So that's what it is. It is there like this. They'll be meeting below the surface. So they're meeting here. Okay. So they'll be meeting below surface, and there will not be any maximum subsidence on the surface because the width is very small. So in case of subcritical width of extraction, the width of the opening is small, right? Next, there is no maximum subsidence. There will not be any maximum subsidence. So let us say these kind of questions you might get in the examination. Like let us say, let S max is maximum subsidence. Then in the above diagram, let's say the amount of substance that has been given is how much? It is S1. In this diagram, it has given like S1. Let's see here. Let me clear all this. Yep. So here they see how much is the amount of this part. This portion. This is S-max, S1, right? So what is the relation now? Suppose let's see if S-max is the maximum subsidence and S1 is the subsidence in case of subcritical width of extraction. Definitely the amount of subsidence, what you call the subsidence in case of subcritical width of extraction is small. So the relation is, see, if S-max is the maximum subsidence, then in the above diagram, S1 is less than the S-max. Am I right? Because it is less than that of that. So this is what exactly the relation. So the line joining the edges of the opening will meet inside the surface. So this is what exactly it is in case of what you call subcritical width of extraction. Okay, let's move on. Next coming to the critical width of extraction. So in case of critical width of extraction, whatever the what you call the width of the opening that you have, like this one. Whatever the width of the opening that you have, okay, it will be more than that of what you call the subcritical. It will be more than that because it has been extended as the mining activity is going on, and face width of the face is getting extended. Okay, the opening will be more. So in case of critical width, the width of the extraction will be more than the subcritical. So what are the width of extraction that that was present in case of subcritical? Okay, it will be more in case of critical width of extraction. So the maximum subsidence S max will be at a single location on the surface. Look at here. In case of subcritical width of extraction, there was no maximum subsidence on the surface. Okay, whatever the substance that that was present in case of subcritical width of extraction, which is less than that of the maximum subsidence. So let us say in this case, the diagram see there will be maximum subsidence at a single location. At the location there will be maximum subsidence. But in this diagram, he has given like what? The S2, the maximum substance is S2. So let's say the maximum substance is S max, and in the diagram is it has given as S2. Then what is the relation now? Definitely they are equal because the maximum substance will be at a single location. So the maximum substance X max will be at a single location on the surface. So in the above diagram, S max is equal to S2. Whatever the S2 substance, the amount of substance that we have, it is equal to S max. Next, the line joining the edges of the opening will meet at a single location on the surface, because here they are meeting at a single location on the surface. So that's about critical width of extraction. So in case of critical width of extraction, the maximum subsidence will be at a single location. So if in this diagram, if S2 is the substance that is given, which is equal to the maximum substance. But when compared to the previous with the particular earlier diagram, okay, the earlier one is less because this is more. The width of the extraction is more. So the line joining the edges of the opening will meet at a single location on the surface. So this is about the critical width of extraction. Next, let's move on. Okay. Next one is supercritical width of extraction. So in case of supercritical width of extraction, because since the width of the extraction is more, right? So the line joining the edges of the opening, what it does is basically, if you look at this diagram, let me put it here somewhere. If you look at this diagram, the line joining, if I extend them, edges of this opening, there will be something like this, right? If I extend them. Next one, if I extend this also, if I extend this portion also, they will be meeting somewhere, right? They will be meeting somewhere outside. Nothing but, if you look at here, this much portion of the earth surface that is being cut by these two lines, am I right? This much portion got affected. Completely the subjected to a maximum substance. It has formed something like a trough. It has formed something like a trough. So what exactly I mean to say is, in case of supercritical width of extraction, okay, the width of the opening will be more. Definitely, it will be much more than the earlier two. Like in case of subcritical, it was very less. Supercritical, it is more than the subcritical one. And critical, it is more than the subcritical one. And in case of supercritical, it is more than all the earlier two methods. Okay. So in this case, the width of the extraction is more, very bigger one. So this is the width of the extraction. Okay, this is the width of extraction. So the line joining these two, if I extend them, right, they'll be meeting on the surface. So which will cut the surface in this one. So it will form a what? Some kind of basin kind of thing here. So look at here, in salient features of supercritical width of extraction. In case of supercritical width of extraction, the width of extraction will be comparatively more than critical width of extraction. Right? It will be more than, yes, obviously it will be more than critical width as well as subcritical width of extraction. Because the critical width is definitely, it is more than the subcritical. So this is more than the subcritical, critical. Okay, so the maximum subsidence will present at more than one location, because you see it has this entire portion is being cut. This entire portion, it's formed some kind of this here. This entire portion, there will be a maximum subsidence. So this is very, very important, guys, from the examination point of view. The maximum subsidence will present at more than one location on the surface. That is, the maximum subsidence will present over an area. Next one. In the above diagram, the amount of subsidence S3, right? One second, we can correct it. Need to clear them. This should be S3. Okay, so yeah. So in the above diagram, the amount of subsidence S3 is equal to what? Maximum subsidence. So this is over an area. In the earlier, in case of subcritical, there was no maximum substance. In case of critical, the maximum substance will be at a single location. In this case, the maximum substance will be over an area. So look at here, the relation between S3 is equal to what? The maximum substance over an area at more than one location. The center portion, it's what you call kind of trough that will be formed. So the line joining the edges of the opening will meet above the surface and will cut the larger portion of the surface. The center portion is being cut by these two lines. So that is why this is called, this width of extraction is known as supercritical width of extraction. Okay, supercritical width of extraction. Let's move. This is another one, non-effective width. Like what? If you look at here, what exactly the non-effective width? As I said, right? Let us say it's a kind of what you call the width, the critical width, you can say. Like, let's say, look at here, subcritical, okay, there is a substance. Critical, there is a substance. Supercritical, there is a substance. So it's a kind of what? Some judicious selection of, or some width of the opening that we need to select in such a way that, there will not be any kind of substance on the surface. So nothing but if I make that particular width of the opening, okay, so the net result of that, due to that opening, there will not be any kind of substance on the surface. So that width of the opening is called non-effective width. Nothing but, in simple words, it is a what you call the some judicious selection of, or it is a what you call the width of the opening at which there will not be any kind of substance. There will not be any kind of substance. So such a width of opening is called, non-effective width, or it is also known as nu. Nu is nothing but non-effective width. See, non-effective width of extraction is an underground width of extraction which does not cause practically any movement of the surface. Nothing but there will not be any kind of what you call deformation on the surface. Okay, in India, nu varies between what you call 0.3 to 1.17 times the depth of the extraction. Okay, 0.3 to. So it all depends on the overlying strata. If the overlying strata is very strong and which is capable, and what you call it will not collapse, obviously there will not be any kind of what you call substance on the surface, right? So if you look at here, if you look at this diagram, let's say initially this was the opening. 1 second. Okay, yep. So initially the opening which I have made is this was the opening. So the substance has reached up to like this. Then I made this kind of opening. Still the substance is reached, the effect of substance up to this point. So it has not reached up to the surface, right? Next, if I made this one, right? It just reached, if I made this one, right? It's still progress. It is because why so many stages? Because the overlying strata is very strong, and only up to certain extent only what called the immediate roof that got collapsed, and it not extended up to the surface. It depends on what the type of overlying strata, and it depends on the depth of the deposit. Let us say if the depth of the deposit is more, so if I make a what you call the opening at a very greater depth, it will collapse and it won't propagate up to the surface. Am I right? If it is due to this mining activity, whatever the overlying vertical strata or the disturbance in the overlying strata, if it won't get it won't extended up to the surface, then there won't be any kind of substance on the surface. Am I right? So it all depends on the overlying strata, depth of the deposit, the method of mining. There are several factors that basically influence. So non-effective width, it's a kind of new concept kind of thing. Basically, it is the width of extraction, okay, at which, okay, with that opening, there will not be any kind of substance on the surface. Such a width of extraction is called non-effective width. Such a width of extraction is called non-effective width. It could sometimes, it all depends on the what you call this type of overlying strata and the depth of the deposit. If the type of the overlying strata is more, so definitely what you call it would be more than the subcritical. It's quite possible. Or the what you call non-effective width would be sometimes it is more than the what you call critical. Sometimes it might be even more than the bigger one also. Still, I make a bigger opening. but the deformation is not extended up to the surface. Suppose, or on the contrary, let us say if the width of the what you call the overlying strata is very small and the depth is also it's a very shallow depth. What happens? Even if I make a shallow, what you call small opening, the substance might extend up to the surface. So there will be a disturbance, right? So the non-effective width is nothing but what? It is a width of extraction at which, okay, there will not be any kind of subsidence on the surface. Sometimes, it may be less than the subcritical, or it might be more than the what you call subcritical, critical, or even sometimes even not subcritical or critical. Why? It is because due to overlying strong layers of the strata, so it won't. These layers are very strong. So what happened now? Even though if I made this kind of opening, even though if I made what you call the extraction here, this portion, so due to the strong layers, it won't extend up to the surface. So what exactly the non-effective width? It is the what you call the width of extraction at which there will not be any what you call the subsidence on the surface. Such a width of extraction is called non-effective width. Okay, this is very, very important. What is non-effective width now? It is a width of extraction of a opening at which what you call at which there will not be any kind of subsidence on the surface. Okay, the subsidence will be zero. Such a width of extraction is called non-effective width. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so next one. So far we discussed what the different types of supports, different types of width of extraction. What is subsidence? What are the different what you call modes of subsidence? Then we discussed about different width of extraction and the classification of subsidence based on the width of the extraction. Under that, there are three different categories. One is called the subcritical width of extraction, then the critical width of extraction, and then the final last one is what is called the supercritical width of extraction. We also discussed about non-effective width, mu. Nothing but it is a what you call the width of extraction due to which there should not be what you call any kind of substance on the surface. Such a width of extraction is called non-effective width or mu, N-E-W, mu. Okay, let's see here. As they progress, how exactly the subsidence profile will change with the progress of the phase. Okay, initially I started with subcritical, this part. Then I moved to what this phase has been moved and it has become what? Critical. Critical means what? The maximum subsidence will be at one location. This is a subcritical profile, guys. First one. So I'm trying to in this diagram, okay, the three different width of extraction they are superimposed. Like let's say in case of subcritical, this is the width, and the corresponding subsidence profile is this one, right? Next, in case of critical width, definitely the width of extraction is more up to this extent. Okay, and these 2 points are meeting at a single location, so the maximum substance will be at a single location, but the profile is something like this part, right? Next, in case of supercritical, what happens? The maximum substance will be at a more than one location, so it's a kind of trough that got formed. This part, this is supercritical, right? So in case it has formed some kind of trough, okay, maximum substance will be at more than one location. So this diagram basically represents the continuous subsidence profiles, okay, due to what you call the due to the progress of the phase, working phase. Initially it was subcritical width, then what you call the progress of the phase, it has been changed to critical width, then supercritical width. How exactly the corresponding subsidence profile will change? So this diagram basically predicts that. Okay, see here the above diagram shows with the progress of the working phase, the subsidence profile changes from subcritical to critical, then finally it will be supercritical. So this diagram represents superimposition of all three different widths of extraction. Okay, let's see. This is again the similar kind of thing here. As the initial it was here, this is what the subsidence S1. As the phase moved, subsidence S2. Phase moved again, subsidence S3. This is S4. Like that, if with the progress of the move, the corresponding substance also gets increased. So this diagram basically represents that. Next, yes, this diagram represents what you call the surface subsidence as well as what you call the corresponding strain curves. These things we'll be discussing in the coming what you call the video lecture. Okay, I'll be discussing like what exactly the compressive, what exactly the corresponding strain profile. Okay, so this is again basically represents what with the progress of extraction, how exactly the substance profile will change. Initially A, this is what this is. With B, up to this is what the substance profile. Up to C, this is what the substance. Then D to D, this is what the substance profile. And up to E, this is what the substance profile. Nothing but the progress of substance with the advance of excavated area, how exactly it looks like. So this is what exactly this diagram basically represents that. It's a similar kind of the earlier diagram, but only thing is here we had shown the not only the what is the substance profile, we also what is called shown the corresponding strain profile as well. Okay, this we'll discuss. We'll be discussing these things in detail in the coming video lectures. Next one, yeah. So to understand the what you call the subsequent what you call the next coming topics, okay, we need to know some basic terminology. We need to understand them. So what are the basic terminology that we'll be using, okay, in substance? So basically look at here. The following are the different terminologies that we'll be using. One is called angle of draw. Second one is called angle of break. Third one is called inflection point or the point of inflection. Okay, these are the basic terminology. This is where these definitions are very important from the examination point of view. Like what is angle of draw? What is angle of draw? Let us say here. Let me draw one simple diagram here. I'm going to put it here. Let us say this is the width of extraction you made. Okay. Now, and let's say this is your surface level. Okay. Next one, due to this mining activity, there will be some kind of subsidence on this surface. Okay. So let me draw vertical like this. Like this. Yes. Look at here. So this is the width of extraction, this portion. Okay. And this is what surface. So what is angle of draw now? So this is what exactly this one? The surface, this portion, the entire portion represent what? The extent up to which there is a possibility of, what we call the subsidence. See, let us imagine what exactly happens in these situations. Okay. Okay. See, you will be getting some kind of subsidence profile. Okay, my drawing is not that good. Still, I'll try to explain this. Okay, let's say this is a substance profile. Now, what exactly happened here? If you look at here, let us say whatever the particles or the soil that is present overlying strata, they are subject immediately, since this is present on the immediately above the opening, they will be subjected to some kind of compression. This is how it is going. Depending on the width of the extraction, okay, like what it will be maximum or something like this. Something like this here. Now, after the edges of the opening, okay, what happened now? This because this is the opening you made, right? So they will try to close this opening. Your forces would be like this, like this. So like this. So these forces, because they are trying to close this opening, and net result here at this location, there will not be any kind of nothing, and here also nothing, just the subsidence is 0. Okay, so if I join all these points, you'll get what? Some kind of trough, right? Some trough kind of shape. That's why this is called, this shape is called subsidence trough or the subsidence profile. Okay, due to this opening. So if you look at here, whatever the overlying strata that is present on the surface, these are all subjected to what? Compression, compressive forces, am I right? These are subjected to what? Compressive forces. These are of compressive nature. Compression, or the compressive forces, am I right? They are of compressive nature. Next, the forces which are acting this side, they are of what? Tensile nature, tensile forces, because they are moving like this, am I right? Look at here. Okay. Because they are moving like this, right? Then these are all moving like this. So these are all what? They are away from the body. Okay, but they are of tensile nature, whereas these are all of what you call compressive nature. So this concept we need to understand. Okay, this what you call this concept we need to understand very we need to understand very clearly to understand what you call the profiles of different width of extraction, how exactly the movement that is going to take place, how exactly the strain profiles, that's nothing but the displacement profiles. Strain profiles nothing but the displacement profiles that are going to take what you call that are going to going to what you call we need to draw how exactly those displacement profiles looks like. Okay, those things we'll be discussing in the next coming slides. So in order to understand that, understand those profiles, we need to have a clear idea about what are the compressive forces that will be acting, what are the forces which are of tensile nature. Okay, now look at the what you call the basic terminology now. What is angle of draw? Angle of draw is nothing but the angle made by the line joining, angle made by the line joining the edges of the opening, line joining the edges of the opening, this part, edges of the opening, this point to the point of zero substance, this line guys, up to this, right? Okay, these 2 points. Okay, I need to get look at here. If I line joining the point of what you call the edge of the opening and the point of zero substance with the vertical, with this vertical, whatever the angle that we will be getting out of this angle is called angle of draw. Look at here. The angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening to the point of zero substance, edge of this opening to the point of zero subsidence on the surface with the vertical, with respect to what? It's not with respect to horizontal, it is with respect to vertical, is known as angle of draw. Okay, let's move on. Next one is what is angle of break or angle of fracture. Okay, this I will explain like in detail while discussing about the subsidence profiles. Okay, okay, for now let us see what exactly the angle of break or angle of fracture. The angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening, angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening to the point of maximum tensile, because if I draw the strain profile, right, so here I will be getting some kind of strain profile. So okay, at what location I will be having point of maximum tensile. Okay, look at the angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening to the point of maximum tensile. Let us say this point is, there is a maximum tensile kind of thing here at this location. Okay, if I join these two, okay, what exactly how you will get this tensile diagram will be getting. Anyway, these things we will be discussing. Let's say this is a tensile curve. This is a tensile curve. Sorry, it's not that good, but still I'm trying to explain this. This is of tensile curve. So at what location you have the tensile, maximum tensile? Okay, if I what that point, if I project it onto the surface, let's say this is a maximum tensile point. I'm trying to project it onto the surface, this point, right? So the line joining the edge of the opening and the point of maximum tensile on the surface. Okay, and what are these lines that we have with this vertical? This angle is called angle of break or angle of fracture. And this plane, what are the plane that you will be getting? This plane, right? This plane is called fracture plane or plane of break. Okay, look at here. What is angle of break or angle of fracture? The angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening to the point of maximum tensile, tensile projected on the surface with a vertical is known as angle of break. Okay, this is known as angle of break. This angle is known as angle of break. Next, what is inflection point? So, if you look at the this subsidence profiles or the strain profiles that will be drawing for a different kind of subsidences. Okay, there will be a vertical in some certain locations. The strain is of compressive nature. In certain portions, that will be of what? Tensile nature. If I draw that particular diagram, okay, the point at which the strain profile curve changes from tensile to compression, or if I take from the other way around, like from compression to tensile, that point is known as nothing but the point at which the curve changes from concave to convex or convex to concave. Okay, that particular point is called point of inflection or inflection point. The point, look at here, the point at which the strain profile curve changes from tensile to compression or vice versa, when nothing but the compression to tensile is known as inflection point or point of inflection. That's what it is, guys. Okay, so let's move on. Let me clear this. Hope you understand the basic terminology. So these terminologies, like understanding these terminologies is very, very important. Like without understanding these terminology, it is very difficult to follow the rest of the video lectures. So if you don't understand, again, revisit this particular portion of the video again and again, and try to understand the concepts. Okay, then you'll get the better idea on the what you call the substance profile. So let's move on. Okay, this is what we were discussing. So look at here, this is the width of the opening that we made it. So this is the width of the opening, which we made it, right? Okay, what is the angle of draw now? The angle made by the edge of the opening, the point of zero substance, right? This point is called angle of draw. This is called angle of draw, this point. Okay, this is called angle of draw. Now, what is angle of break? Angle of break is nothing but, look at here, as I said, right? What are the, if you look at the substance trough, the area which is present above the opening, they are subjected to what? Some kind of what you call tensile forces. Sorry, compressive forces. The forces would be something like this, because they are present immediately above opening. Am I right? There will be something like this. Whereas the area that is present after the edges of the opening, they are subject to what? Some kind of tensile, because they are trying to move towards inside, like this, right? Nothing but these are tensile kind of thing. So here the movement of the what you call the surface movement or the change in profile is due to what? This is of what you call the compressive nature, whereas this is of what the other one is. This is called of tensile nature, right? So generally the maximum tensile will be on the edges of the opening. Look at here, this point. In this case, this point, edges of the opening. Okay, so or a little bit of that. Now, what is angle of break now? The angle between the line joining edge of this opening and the point of this is of, look at here, this is a strain profile case. This now represents the strain profile. Strain profile. Okay, so I think this is in case of critical width of extraction. That's it is something like this. critical width of it, because this has been critical width of expansion. So this will drop just like that. There will not be any movement. So that's the reason there will be a movement. That's why this profile is called this strain profile. Strain is nothing but what? Change in length to the original length. That is called strain, right? So if you look at here, this strain is due to what? The tensile, because they are moving towards inside. And this strain, this other portion of it, this is also this is due to tensile. Whereas this is of what? Compressive, because they're directly going down. Because there will be a little bit movement, then there will be a what you call the strain. If it directly go down, there will not be any kind of strain, right? Because it's straight away this is going down. At this location, there is a maximum substance, right? There is no what you call horizontal movement at all. It simply went down, right? So since this is what you call, see, there is no horizontal movement. Definitely there won't be. Look at here. This is of tensile nature, and this is of compression, compressive nature. Compressive tensile to it, because straight away it is going down, 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 and there is a some kind of movement of the strata, because then they're trying to close the opening like this, guys. From this to this, it will try to close this opening. So there will be a movement. This movement is due to tensile. This is of what you call due to compressive nature. So there will be a movement, and at this middle location there is a there will be a maximum substance. So that is the reason. Okay, straight away it went and no movement at all. That's why it is zero. So if you look at this diagram, right, this diagram basically represents maximum horizontal strain. So this is, in this case, the horizontal movement is due to what? Horizontal movement, right? The horizontal movement is due to what? Tensile. That's why it is. And here it must be compressive, because it has to move like this. But see here, at this location, there is no horizontal movement. Straight away it is going down. That's why there is no horizontal movement. Curve is zero, because straight away it is going down. It is something like this. Right, straight away it is going down, so there is no horizontal movement at all. That's why it is zero. But it has, look at if you observe this curve very carefully, this is of tensile nature, whereas this is of compressive. But what happened when it reaches the center, there will not be any kind of horizontal movement. Okay, this is a horizontal movement strain curve. Strain nothing but change in length to the original length. That's what it is. Okay, horizontal movement strain curve. So this is a tensile curve. This is a compressive. And this is again the vertical compressive, and this is a tense. That's why sometimes people call this as a positive displacement, negative displacement, and then again the positive displacement. Positive is nothing but due to tensile, this part. Okay, so these curves are called the strain profiles. So now what is angle of draw? This what you call the, we'll be discussing these strain profile curves in detail in the coming video lecture. There I'll be explaining in detail, but for now let us try to understand what exactly the angle of break. So in case of angle of break, right, the angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening and the point of maximum tensile projected on the surface. Okay, this point I need to join to this one. Whatever the angle that we'll be getting here, in this case it is small. This angle is called angle of break. This is called angle of break. Now, what is the angle of draw now? Angle of draw is nothing but the angle made by the line joining the edge of the opening, line joining the point of the edge of the opening, and the point of zero substance, because beyond this point there is no point, there is no substance, right? Point of zero substance with the vertical, because it has to make a vertical the angle with respect to vertical, right? With respect to this. So that angle is called angle of draw. This angle is called angle of draw. Since this particular diagram is meant for what you call, in case of critical width of extraction, so the line joining internally, right, whatever the line joining, they are also making an angle equal to angle of draw. That's what it is. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, let's so now this is very important diagram. As in this diagram, I am going to explain what are the various components of subsidence profile. This is very, very, very important topic. Let us discuss in detail. Okay, what are the various components of subsidence profile? Okay, yeah, here the one location, right? The maximum subsidence at a single location. So definitely this diagram is basically meant for in case of critical width of extrusion. Okay, so let us see how exactly this one. So these are called, look at here, there are different things guys. If you look at this diagram, first one is angle of draw. Nothing but as we discussed like on the previous slide, like it is the line joining the edge of the opening to the point of zero substance with the vertical. This angle is called angle of draw. These two are called angle of draw. Next, definitely the angle of break is nothing but it is something like this. This is the maximum strain curve, right? So if I project this point here, yep, it's good to know that. Okay, this point. Now, what is angle of break? Line joining the edge of the opening. Look at here. Yes, the line joining edge of the opening is nothing but this part to the point of maximum tensile projected on the surface, on the substance surface. This angle is called angle of break. So we discussed two basic terminology. One is called angle of draw. Second one is called angle of break. Next one, we'll discuss about what is this curve, this solid line curve. Look at it, follow my cursor. This solid line curve. This curve represents, let me draw it. If you're not able to follow, just a minute. Yeah. This solid line curve. Okay, this particular line curve I'm talking about. This curve represents the substance profile. Nothing but how these points will go down, these points will, kind of a tensile kind of thing. And whatever the shape that we'll be getting, that is called nothing but the simple definition of substance trough or substance profile. Because in examination, you might get what exactly the substance profile. So the substance profile is nothing but the change in profile of the ground or the change in shape of the ground. Okay, what shape it has been changed, that profile is called, that is called subsidence trough or subsidence profile. Okay, next we'll discuss what we call strain curves, horizontal strain curves. Horizontal, how exactly that what you call the strain is going to be. As I said in the what you call the previous slide, right? These portions, this particular part, these are all subjected to some kind of what? See here, in this case, these are all of what? Tensile kind of forces. Tensile, 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 tensile. These are all of tensile kind of thing. Now, these things are now what do you call? Here it is there of what? These are all compressive and these are all tensile. These are all of compressive. These are all of what called lateral movement, right? So that's why they are called tensile. So that's what. How you will get a substance profile now? The line joining. If I join these all these points, right, we'll be getting some kind of shape. That's what exactly that curve itself known as substance profile. Now let us try to understand what exactly the strain curves. So strain is nothing but there must be some change in its length to the virginal length. That is why it is called strain. Okay, here see up to this, from this point to this edge of the opening, right? It is of tensile nature. They will be moving. There will be a movement, right? So this point was present this location. It has been moved to this location, right? Nothing but it moved. Look at here. It is something like this, guys. If I take any point, let's say this point. This is of tensile nature. So this particular point, let me draw some point kind of thing here. Okay, this particular point has to move this location. So what exactly it means? If it moved this location, nothing but this point, let me choose a different color. This point moved like this vertically, and this much portion horizontal. This is what the resultant that we will be getting. Right? Nothing but there is a displacement of this particular point, this extent vertical, this much horizontal. And effectively it is of what? Tensile nature. It is of what? Tensile nature. That's what exactly this particular curve represents. Change in length to the original length. But the strain that you will be getting, it is of what? Tensile nature. This is of tensile strain curve. Next, if you look at here, they are of what you call the compressive nature. So you'll be getting some kind of compression. So there is this is because of the horizontal movement, guys, because it has moved like this. It's not vertical, it has moved like this. Not only vertical, there is the lateral movement. Right? In this case, if you look at here, the point which is present, which is immediately above the what you call the opening, it's straight away like there will not be any horizontal kind of movement, right? It's only the vertical movement. But this strain profile is meant for horizontal movement. So that's why this is 0 here. There will not be any kind of horizontal movement. So it will be like what? This is of tensile nature, and this is of what? Compressive nature. But this compressive, again, it will decrease till when we reach the center point of it. So this is of tensile curve, compressive. This strain curve is of again compressive, and this is of tensile curve. This is about the strain curve in case of critical width of extra. In this case, this particular case is of critical one, because if you look at this diagram, the maximum subsidence will be at a single location. This portion is maximum. That's what it represents. Next, what is displacement? Displacement is nothing but what? This is about the change in length to the original length. That's why these are called the strain profile. Displacement is nothing but how the distance between the starting point and ending point. That is called displacement. So the movement, look at here, the displacement curve basically this gives the movement of the the overlying strata. How exactly the movement takes place. So look at here, initially it is small. When you go inside, the movement will be maximum. That's how it will tries to close this opening. Okay, that's how it tries to close the opening. So in this diagram, this particular curve basically it represents the displacement curve. So the display nothing but the movement of strata. It basically represents like the movement is there, whether this particular curve represents whether it is of tensile or compressive, and this particular curve represents how exactly the movement of the overlying strata is going to take place. So this is a displacement curve. So the maximum displacement, nothing but the movement will be maximum. In this case, right, it is on the edges of the opening. If we try to on this one, and again it will be 0. There will not be any movement. Straight away it will be down, right? Okay, and again the movement will be maximum again on the edges of the opening, and again it will be like other end it will be 0. So basically, if you look at this this particular diagram, right, what are the different components? The basic terminology or the components that we discussed? One is called angle of drop. Second one is called angle of break. Third one is called the subsidence profile. Fourth one is the horizontal strain curve, and the fifth one is horizontal displacement curve. Displacement curve. Fine. Okay. So with this, I'll stop this video lecture. We'll be continuing in the coming video lecture with the rest of the topics. Thank you.